can you tell a little bit about your department's role in this?
Yeah. Apart from just facilitating, and helping or to be a conduit to other government agencies, we also provide event organizers with grants. Grants to bring in international acts that has an appeal for tourists to come into Malaysia. And that grants help them promote these acts regionally, with, of course, again, with the intention of bringing in as many tourists to Malaysia. We work with all major airlines. We work with MS Holidays. We work with AirAsia Go. We package it. We put it up through the websites. We work with our Tourism Malaysia offices. We have 44 offices worldwide. We use these offices as a platform to reach out to these markets. So this gives the event organizers or the promoters now additional platforms where they probably would not have reached via MySAP or the Ministry of Tourism. But now with that, I think we could see like events like from Iqbal's Future Music last year was 30% international, out of 25,000 people. Russell Peters, we could see the Singaporeans just coming in, the Indonesians just coming in. Jennifer Lopez likewise as well. So I think events like this will definitely bring in more people.
So the aid will be primarily more marketing and financial support?
Yeah, primarily more on marketing internationally, and we also look at the type of artists and we pay a certain percentage of the artist fee. But the artist has to be of tier 1, it has to have an appeal, a regional appeal, and it must be able to pull the crowd.
Okay, what about the the paperwork and the legality and all the other parts that comes in, the permits and all that?
So we have a model that was conceptualized by an international audit firm. So every thing is put into that model. And what the model looks at are a few criteria. Number one is the amount of tourists coming into Malaysia. What's your artist fee? What's your production cost? What's your length of stay? We want to increase length of stay as well. What's going to be your average ticket price, for example. And this model will churn out a ROI figure that we use and we look at it and we provide grants for individual promoters.
The government has been inviting us to come to forums and workshops and guiding us in terms of how to make our events more profitable.
Tony, can I just ask you a question? In terms of the number of shows has been growing exponentially right now, how many of these promoters out there do you think actually actively seek out the tourist market?
Because as I said, the events that we support.
Yeah, I mean, not just, I mean, do you see how many people do you, I say out of 100%, do you think how many percent of that actually come to you and say that, we have the tourists in mind when we put this concert together, or we need to have tourists to make this work?
Yeah, because when they come and see me, they know what I want, you see.
Yeah,
so they already have their tourists in mind.
Yeah, okay.
But then again, most of them, as I gave an example earlier, for them, a ticket sold in Malaysia is the same as a ticket sold in Singapore, Indonesia, or Philippines. But for them to go out there and to spend that additional resources and funds to bring in that tourist doesn't make sense for their bottom line. So, if you ask me, they will probably not even want to see a foreigner in Malaysia. He probably wants to see a Malaysian. But what we do is we encourage them, when we give them certain marketing grants, to go out there and to seek these tourists.
The government's doing its part. Promoters is doing his part in actually moving this agenda along. What do you think the media's role can be in terms of all that?
I think it'll be good if we get to know a lot of this information, what's happening, details get firmed out as soon as possible, so we have time to put it in a magazine or put it on tweets and things like that. And I think it's quite good that we get all this information as much as we can, because when we promote something either to social media or even in traditional print magazine, it does have an impact because everybody helps create the vibe. And especially in our Twitter, especially on Time Out KL, we do have audience from outside Malaysia. So what we can do is bridge the gap between what's happening here and what people from the outside will get to know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Do you see a lot more traffic for your sites and your Twitter account coming from outside Malaysia?
It does actually, especially K-pop, surprisingly.
Okay.
There's this, I think, as a case study, for example, last year when the Twin Towers Alive, when they started announcing all these K-pop artists and we tweet them, even in late at night, about 10, 11 o'clock, it just get flooded with retweets and even inquiries. So I think what media can do is become that sort of media person between the promoter and the consumers outside, whether locally or even internationally, just in terms of information and just to get a message across.